Yo, what's going on, everyone? Ignacio here. Hope you guys are having a good day today. Today we have a special guest, Rizu, and today we're going to talk about some of the bad things that we've experienced during our travels, and hopefully this video can help you avoid any of these mistakes. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So the first country we're going to talk about is Peru, and I guess the main thing that happened there is I re-sprained my ankle before we left. I think almost a week prior to that, I actually sprained my ankle jogging through the woods. So that was pretty bad. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
This was one of our earlier trips. This was our second international trip, and we were not prepared to get injured. It happened on the first day that we got there.
I don't remember that.
We also had a plan to do a hike, which didn't happen. And we had even considered canceling the trip because he had sprained his ankle to begin with. But we just went because it healed.
Yeah, I mean, it healed back up. The swelling went away. There wasn't much bruising. And even when we got there, I was trying to be super careful and stuff. But everywhere you step on, almost, there's no smooth pavement. That day it just finished raining and we were walking down some steps.
Yeah.
And I was being super careful, stepped on a rock, and then my foot just slid on it sideways. It just, did the sound, pop, 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 right? And then from there, we knew it was over. So
yeah. So obviously the hike, it was like a 4-day hike that we had. We had to cancel it. And we were gonna be initially we were in Cusco we were gonna be there for 3 days, but we ended up being there about a week. And so we had to book the place, the hostel we were staying. We had to book it even more.
Right.
And I had to take care of you for the whole time there by myself. You couldn't leave the room, and I had to go get food for us every single day. I had to get you medicine because you didn't have medicine.
No, we didn't take any. She pumped me up with a bunch of ibuprofen that we got there.
Oh, and then because of your swelling, I tried to find ice, but they don't really sell ice.
Right. So what did we use?
I had to go to McDonald's and order drinks.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just bad. It was a bad experience.
Right.
And we did go see Machu Picchu.
It wasn't really, I guess, a pleasant trip, but I guess the way to try to avoid this is, if possible, always have your hiking boots on. I think if I had my boots on, I think I would have been okay. So
and
just keep that in mind.
We didn't seek any medical attention. We just tried to fix it ourselves.
Yeah, because I mean, I've done this to myself plenty of times, so I kind of know how to take care of it by now. Yeah. But
and always bring your medicine.
Yeah, always make sure to bring some ibuprofen because you never know when you're going to sprain your ankle. Yeah, that's it. Peru. So the second place that we had trouble in was in Indonesia, specifically Bali. And what happened there was...
this was our last day in Bali. And
supposed last day.
And our flight was in the afternoon. And so before we left, we went to the beach, and then they dropped us off at the airport, and we were getting ready for our flight, and we went to the counter, and they couldn't find any information on us. And then
so what happened was they asked us to try to call the airline and see what happened or whatever. So we tried to do all that stuff, but no one picked up. And eventually we ended up racking a pretty expensive phone bill.
Yeah. There was no phone that we could use there. And we didn't have any service, international calls on our phones. So.
Right. What ended up happening is that after, I think the third time we went to the counter, the person there actually checked the ticket. And they saw that it was for the following day. And I guess where we got confused on was...
well, it was really my fault. Because,
this my bad, not we, she.
This whole trip, it was like a 30-something day trip, okay? Yeah. We were gone for over a month. Yeah. And I'm in charge of most of this bookings and flights and everything. And we had 11 flights. So I made a mistake and writing down the wrong date, even though like the paper and the confirmation had a different date. I don't know why I wrote the wrong date. And so it was ultimately like my fault. And we went there, I guess, you know, a day early, thinking that we missed the flight or thinking something happened or we didn't book something or whatever. But
so yeah, I mean, that day she was a little bit tore up, but you know, I told her it's cool or whatever. So what we ended up doing,
we really wanted to leave though that day because it would have affected us we were going to New Zealand from Bali. And we already had a car rental paid, we had Airbnb paid there, and then we had like, this was a road trip, so it would have messed up the driving that we had to do. So we would have drove longer, like getting there late. Yeah,
it kind of like put us a day behind on driving. So I mean, in the end, what we did to fix this is we just rented the closest Airbnb to the airport, and we just slept that night.
And we walked there.
We basically we crossed like, I think it was like 8 or 10 lanes of car lanes, and just to get to our place. And
this was at night already. Like we had spent the afternoon trying to figure this out and see like, you know, what had happened. And we tried to leave now. They couldn't get us on a flight that day, so we just,
even if we paid for it, they said we were just
too late anyways. So we had to wait anyways for the next day for our original flight.
And when we got to New Zealand, I had to drive an extra, like 4 hours, right? Yep. So that kind of sucked. But I guess to try to avoid this is quadruple check your itinerary and make sure you have all your dates in check.
But in the end, at least we didn't miss the flight, because missing the flight would have cost us a lot more than, you know, what happened. I wish we hadn't even like called the stupid airline. I don't know why we couldn't fix it at the counter. They couldn't do anything for us at the counter.
And even then, like at the third time, that's when they told us that the flight's for the next day. But we didn't realize,
because no one had realized that the flight was for the next day. They just thought it was today, but our names weren't showing up for that day.
So that was weird. But anyways, that was it for Bali. Alright, so the third place we're going to talk about is India. And we've already talked about this in our What's It Like to Live in Japan video, so go check that out. But I guess we can go a little bit more in depth in what happened.
I mean, basically, you know, we got sick. We got a bacterial infection. And we think that it was caused from a smoothie. We think it was from dirty ice. We're not sure, but we know it was a drink that we had in India.
It was, I think it was an apple smoothie, right?
Well, we had different ones, so that's why I think it was ice.
Well, we had one day. And
that was our second time going to that place.
So that time it was okay, but the second time we went, I'm pretty sure it was an apple smoothie, and that night it hit us hard.
And this was 2 days before we were gonna leave India, and like we started feeling pain in our stomach. That night we started getting sick. And we had, you want to say what we had?
We had a runny stool. I don't know.
Okay, we were both getting diarrhea, and
me specifically, I was throwing up everything that I was eating. So
I had fever. I don't know if you had.
No, fever. I didn't have fever. I didn't experience that.
But you know, after that, we just took medicine because we were not prepared at that time. We didn't have medicine. And so over an entire week, over 7 days, our symptoms never stopped.
No. They didn't get worse either. They were the same. Steady.
We still had diarrhea every single day. Anything we ate, it just turned into diarrhea. And it was really bad. And that was a really bad experience.
But other than that, that's basically what happened. So I guess to try to avoid this
that happens a lot in India, from what I understand, and people get sick there a lot. So just be careful what you eat. I honestly enjoyed all the food there, so I'm sad that it made me sick.
Yeah, because I think maybe I mean, that was the only street food that we had, so
yeah.
maybe it was the street food, but I don't know. I mean, that was the first and only thing we tried, so
yeah.
Everything else we ate was like at restaurants and stuff, or at our hotel.
Yeah.
So the last country we're going to talk about is Egypt.
So basically, when we got to Egypt, I was going to exchange money, and we did get picked up by a guy there, and we asked him where we could exchange money, and he told us from an ATM, which I don't think I had ever heard of, doing an exchange in an ATM where you put in your cash.
Yeah, using cash.
Yeah. Like, we always do it over the counter. So.
Or use our card at the ATM.
Yeah. But he told us it could be done there. So when he stuck the money in, the little machine just closes its door, and that was all it did. And
it just closed it, and it took it.
Yeah. And it was like stuck there. It was jammed.
Yeah, I didn't even like take it in all the way. It just took I just gripped it from, I don't know. It was weird, right? But then after that, the machine just crapped out and it said error, and it said please try again. We were there for almost 3 hours trying to get help.
Yeah. So our flight had arrived around 11:30. So we were doing this around close to midnight, and we didn't get help until 1 a.m. The guy came to open the ATM machine.
Yeah.
To get our money out.
Yeah.
And when he did, they wouldn't give it to us.
Right, and they even were like, can you verify how much it was? And I told him the right amount.
And he counted it in front of other people. Everyone was there, and it was the right amount, and they wouldn't give it to us.
Yeah, he just said, he was like, I can't give this to you because, company policy or something like that.
But he had to wait till the morning till someone could verify. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
So pretty much that day we left. So I was left with no money.
Right, yeah.
And it was, wait, did I say how much it was? It was $400.
Yeah, it was $450 that got taken.
Throughout our whole time there, we tried to resolve this problem, and it wouldn't get fixed. And we even went to the airport a couple times to try to fix this, and they would always turn us away and tell us they couldn't do it. And then until the very last day when we were leaving was our last chance to try to get our $400 back.
Yeah, it was the night before our flight. We had to go back because apparently that's when the manager was in.
Yeah.
And we went there, and even then we waited for an hour.
We waited a really long time.
Just for the guy to tell us, sign 2 sheets of paper, and then he just gave us our money back. So we thought that was pretty weird, especially because we guessed all the money right. We were there for hours and hours waiting. We went so many times to try to get our money back, and in the end, she didn't even get to use none of her money. So I guess the way to try to avoid this is, normally I usually we either usually exchange our cash at a teller, and sometimes we don't because sometimes their rates are a little bit too high, so we might lose a couple bucks.
Well, sometimes too, we already have the currency of that country before we even get there. Yeah. But it depends on how long. Obviously, if we're gonna stay somewhere months, we're gonna have that money already. If we're staying there a couple of days, or it just depends. We would do it at the airport.
Right.
But honestly, I don't recommend dealing with ATMs at all. That's a last resort. Always do it in person. Even at the counter, you could use your card or you could use cash, but ATMs is not a good idea any time of the day. Right.
I guess best case scenario is try to exchange that money through your bank from your home country. I guess the second best place to do it is to bring that cash or your card to a teller and have them exchange it. And if you have nothing else left, use an ATM.
And we've had experiences before with ATMs when they're outside the airport, or just no one is going to deal with it at the airport. The airport staff, it has nothing to do with them, so they're not going to try to help.
Yeah, and no one really can help you. I think the last time they told us is to call a number, and we can't really call, so all we do is just kind of hope that our money wasn't taken out and then just move on or whatever. But I mean, that's what happened in Egypt. Alright, so that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing. And also, if you really enjoyed the video, if you don't mind giving it a like, it would really help us out with the YouTube algorithm, which kind of sucks for us. But anyways, this was just, I guess, a little recap of some of the things that we had to go through our travels. So hopefully, once again, this video can help you guys out with that and try to avoid any of these mistakes or bad luck, whatever. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your days, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.